This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, July 28th, 1984, one of the most prominent and profit Olympics in history happened. It's 40 years ago that the Olympics, the 23rd Summer Olympics, were held in Los Angeles. This would be huge for LA because this actually was the second time LA hosted the Olympics. The first was 1932 in the Great Depression and all that. But yeah, LA getting the 1984 Olympics was huge and all that. This was the first Olympics that saw Juan Antonio Samaranch become the IOC president. So it was impressive and all that. As things looked good. Ronald Reagan would host the Olympics, being like opening the game. However, this was the Olympics that saw many boycotts. 14 Eastern Bloc countries boycotted the Games, including Soviet Union and East Germany. In response to the American-led boycott that had 65 nations don't take part in 1980. Romania actually was a Soviet-aligned state, but Romania would opt to attend the Games. Amazing to know that. There are still 140 Olympic committees or nations would take part in the 1984 Games. Romania would take advantage of their Soviet counterparts' boycott as they took second in the medal standings behind the Americans, with West Germany third. They've been widely considered to be the most financially successful modern Olympics, despite the 14-nation boycott. As a result, to low construction costs due to the use of existing sports infrastructure with a reliance on private corporate funding, the profit was over $250 million. So anyway, there were a lot of tensions and all that. With the terrorist attack in Munich and with Montreal having financial debts in 1976, that would be far exceeding things, which would have actually led to 3 decades of, of trouble. And with various boycotts by nations. Few cities in the late 70s were willing to bid for the Summer Olympics. Only 2 cities would make serious bids for the 1984 Summer Games: Los Angeles and, don't laugh, but it was true, Tehran, Iran. So Tehran actually wanted to. Unfortunately, with Iran's policy changes following the Iranian Revolution and a change in the ruling system, Iran basically had to withdraw. So in May 1978, LA was accepted as the champion and would host the 1984 Summer Olympics. They actually unsuccessfully bid for the 2 previous Summer Olympics in 1976 and 1980. Anyway, the Americans were upset because, they hadn't had a Summer Olympics since 1932, which was very weird in American circles. So, anyhow, this was huge and all that. They went through an Olympic torch relay that went through 33 states and had over 3,600 guys. O.J. Simpson was among the others. Now remember, this was before his thing. Anyway, a granddaughter of Jesse Owens carried the torch into the stadium, and then Rayford Johnson, who was the decathlon champion in 1960, was the last guy and actually hit the flame that went through a specially designed flammable Olympic logo, igniting all 5 rings and, of course, bringing the cauldron. So anyway, everybody knew about the music of John Williams and all that. So, yeah, that was huge. So, there was an arts festival in 1984. The 84 Summer Olympics marked the first time that all athletes lived together in a single Olympic village, as supposed to be divided by gender and political blocks. The opening ceremony was famous for Bill Suter using a jetpack, aka being Rocket Man. The Americans had topped the medal count for the first time since 1968. Well, mostly due to the fact that the Soviets were dominating, and not forget they boycotted the '84 Olympics. They won 83 gold medals, surpassing the Soviets' totals of 80 in 1980. Anyway, as a result of the ILC actually designating the Republic of China, again Taiwan, and making them Chinese Taipei, the People's Republic of China agreed to come back to the Summer Olympics for the first time in 32 years. There were a lot of major events and highlights. Carl Lewis winning 4 gold medals, equaling Jesse Owens' 1936 mark of winning the 100 meter, 200 meter, 4x100 relay, and the long jump. People forget for how good Carl Lewis is as a sprinter. He was a good long jumper, too. Anyway, Nawal Al Mutawakkil of Morocco became the first female Olympic champion of a Muslim nation when she did in the 400 meter hurdles. Carlos Lopez from Portugal won the marathon at age 37 with an Olympic record that was set for 24 years. And Portugal finally won a gold medal. Simpsons actually parodied this in the episode that Bart becomes part of a boy band. They won, and they were doing the Springfield Marathon and all that, and they showed the Olympic highlights, and that inspired Homer to try to take up marathon running to bad success. Anyway, the women would have their Olympic marathons for the first time ever. Joe Benoit of the U.S. won. However, it was also remembered for the Swiss runner Gabriele Anderson Schultz, who, suffering through heat exhaustion, entered the stadium for the final lap in a total haze of exhaustion, barely able to walk, but completing the race and all that. So, anyway, 1984 Olympics was also known in track and field for the big thing between Murray Decker and Sola Budd. Murray Decker from the U.S., Sola Budd from South Africa originally, but of course went to UK to represent them because she had UK ancestry, and of course because South Africa was banned because of apartheid. Decker and Budd would collide midway through the race, and Decker would injure herself and be knocked out of the race. Budd would finish 8th, and Mariana Puca of Romania would be the champion. Of course, Decker would blame Budd for her stuff and vice versa. It was later revealed that Decker was kind of at fault too because she was not used to pack running for events. And she said so herself. The first gold medal at the LA Olympics was the first ever won by a Chinese athlete as Zhu Haifeng won the 50-meter pistol or in shooting. Synchronized swimming and rhythmic gymnastics would debut in LA for the first time. Rhythmic gymnastics was huge because Canada's Lori Fung would be the champion. Li Ning of China won 6 medals in gymnastics and would actually light the Olympic cauldron at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. Steve Redgrave won the first of his 5 straight gold medals in rowing. Victor Davies of Canada set a new world record at the 200-meter breaststroke, which even the American commentators thought was huge. Ray Loretta became the first gymnast outside Eastern Europe to win the all-around competition, and she was a star. And all that for American girls and all that to join gymnastics. The American team would win the gold medal in a shock win over China. France would beat Brazil in the soccer final 2-0. And Olympic football actually was unexpectedly played before massive crowds throughout America. The Rose Bowl, 100,000 seat stadium, there would be some sellouts there, which was huge. It actually helped the U.S. win the bid for the '94 World Cup. Weightlifting was huge with the Soviet-led boycott. 94 of the top 100 weightlifters were absent, and 29 of the 30 medalists from the recent World Championships. And of course, state-run doping programs didn't help matters. The 1984 men's Olympic basketball team won the gold medal when it was still amateurs. However, 3 members of the 1984 squad would play for the '92 squad, which was the first to have professionals. MJ, Patrick Ewing, and Chris Mullin. Anyway. So yeah, lots of venues. LA Memorial Coliseum, the Memorial Sports Arena, Dodger Stadium had baseball, which was nice. Poly Pavilion for UCLA, and the Albert Gershon Pavilion at Loyola Marymount. The Forum in Inglewood would host basketball and team handball. Santa Anita Park would host equestrian events. The Rose Bowl would host soccer. Lots of great stadiums and all that would host events and all that. Baseball and tennis were demonstration sports. And then in 1988, those 2 sports became medal events for the first time. So the medal count was huge by proximity, as the Americans would win with 174 medals. Wow, they were practically unopposed in many events. West Germany would be second with 59. Romania would have 53. Canada would take 44 medals and take 4th, their best finish ever in the Summer Olympics by result. They were 4th. China came 5th. Italy, Japan, Korea, Yugoslavia, and New Zealand were the other. But all that. 18 countries would make their debuts. Bahrain, Bangladesh, Bhutan, the Virgin Islands, Djibouti, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Grenada, Mauritius, Mauritius, North Yemen, Oman, Qatar, Rwanda, Western Samoa, Solomon Islands, Tonga, and the Arab Emirates. Zaire came back after a 16-year absence, and the People's Republic of China would make its first appearance in 32 years, and the Republic of China team would be known as Chinese Taipei. Or, well, I say Taiwan, all that. The weird thing was, because of the Soviet banishment, there were some communist countries that disregarded the boycott and decided to go. Yugoslavia, China, and Romania all went. And all that. The Romanian athletes were even given a standing ovation during the opening ceremonies. So that was huge and all that. It was a financial success of LA as the host city, as opposed to Montreal and Moscow kind of not doing that thing and all that. So anyway, yeah, LA did a lot of good things, right? And in 2028, they will be hosting the Summer Olympics. And the best part of the financial success of LA was that cities would have a renewed interest in bidding to become host and all of that. And all that. So the 1984 Olympics would actually be big in popular culture, as there was a Seinfeld episode called The Gymnast, which sees Jerry dating a woman who competed in the 1984 Olympics for Romania. Of course, in popular culture, the 1984 Olympics would be parodied in the Simpsons episode Lisa's First Word. So anyway, McDonald's ran a promotion called When the US Wins, You Win. and customers scratched off a ticket with the name of an Olympic event, and the Americans won a medal in that event, it would be, depending on it, you would win a Big Mac for gold, French fries for silver, and Coke for bronze. Unfortunately, the Americans would win far more medals than expected. Of course, in Lisa's first word and all that, it was huge. Krusty Burger would run a similar offer saying that, if America won a gold medal, they would get a free Krusty Burger. The organizers made it a mission that the awards would go to events that the Eastern Europeans never lose. Unfortunately, Krusty reads about the Soviet-led boycott, meaning that he would lose $44 million because of all the gold medals the Americans would get and all of that. And of course, this is 1984, bear in mind. So that would be huge. But anyway, the Olympics are huge. And don't you forget it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.